Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name's Emma Fave, and today I'm going to be using art supplies that I don't like, and I am going to try to find something positive in them and like using them. So this is going to be a challenge. But today we're going to be painting, drawing with watercolor markers. Not a fan, but let's try and make me a fan. Let's get into it. Okay friends, so today I am going to be trying out some supplies that I don't love, and I am going to see if I can bring myself to like them or find some use for them. So I got these sent from a company I want to say 2 years ago. I tried them and I was like, not for me. So that's why I didn't do a video on them. I try when I review products or use products on my channel, I try to only do ones that I enjoy. I don't really like reviewing products or just sharing products if I don't enjoy them. I just don't like putting that out there. I'd rather focus my energy on things I really, really love. But for the purpose of today's video, I'm not necessarily reviewing them and I'm not necessarily crapping on them at all. I want to challenge myself to find a use for something that I'm not really comfortable with and I'm not that fond of. I want to see if there's a way that I can learn to love something that I initially didn't like. So it's a challenge for me today. So I got these. I think the company, I guess, is One Make. They're not bad. I just never really gravitated towards watercolor markers, and these ones specifically have a brush tip that are like these water pens. It's the same thing. So it's like a brush, like these I don't even know what the material is. It's not like regular bristles or synthetic. It's like not plastic. I don't know. Whatever these bristles are. It's the same kind of thing. So they're a brush tip like this to try and kind of mimic a paintbrush. And I will tell you that I've already tried to shoot this video. It matters what paper you use, because I have my Paul Rubens sketchbook here and I tried to use it in this and it's very dry. You get these kind of it just feels like the marker has no ink in it and it's very hard to use. And then when you try and render it out with a wet paintbrush, it's not great. And I think maybe I used it on paper like this at the beginning and it was just such a turnoff. I was like, I have no use for this. But when I did the swatching on the card that it came with, it rendered out a lot better. It's still a little bit kind of not streaky, but they're not a consistent, brush stroke. You have to go really slow, but it renders out way better. So I tried to look around my office to see if there was a paper that this would work on. A high quality cotton paper like Arches that is very textured is not going to be good for these, but I tried them on my B watercolor paper. This is the 90-pound watercolor paper. It's cotton, but it's smoother and it works well. So that's what I'm going to use today to create something with these. I'm going to get rid of this Paul Rubens sketchbook. Don't get me wrong, I love my Paul Rubens sketchbook, but these markers just do not work with them. So I'm going to try and doodle something with these markers, and hopefully I can find some use for them where I, can learn to like them. So let's do that. And I'm thinking, because it's fall, let's do some cute little fall doodles of leaves and maybe mushrooms or pumpkins. I don't know. Yeah. Now, the only problem I feel like I might run into is the color selection. It's not bad. It has some nice browns. It has this olive green, which I like, which is very neutral. But then it has a lot of these bright colors, which if you know fall, it's more of a muted palette. So I don't know necessarily how I'm going to go about doing this exactly. I did get my mixing stone here, so I'm wondering if I, put them on my palette and then mix them to get the colors I want. Maybe I could use it like that, but I'm just going to have to be really creative. So I want to start off just by doing some mushrooms, because everyone loves mushrooms in the fall. I don't know why. It's such a weird thing, but we do. So I'm going to take this red, and I'm just going to do one of those red with the spotted white dots mushrooms. This will also be interesting to see how I can shade. If I add its contrasting color over top to get more of a shadow color, will that work? So this is going to be interesting. So this is drawing on this actually quite nicely. And I don't need to color in the whole thing red. right? Because it's going to render out a bit. And I do want some lighter areas. So I'm going to do mostly at the bottom here and leave this a little bit lighter so I can make that a lighter red after. I'm going to just try and draw the whole mushroom, I guess. What color is this? This is like a purpley brown kind of taupey color. So it has that little skirt. And I'm trying to, if I want to make a like a lighter value, sorry if I'm stuttering here. If I want to make a lighter value of a mushroom, I would just put less color, like less of the marker. So maybe a bit more color at the top and then down here. So when I render it out, it's just, I don't know. We're going to see how that works. Let me just test it because I'm a little nervous that this is just not going to work. All right, so I'm going to grab my size 6 brush, make it nice and wet. I'm going to start in the lighter areas just like I do with my watercolor crayons. And I'm just going to start in like little circular motions to kind of render this out. And then what I want to try is I want to try and add some of the shadow in there. Like I wonder if I can just go back in with the wet marker and add more color. Like I would take a little bit of green. If you want to try and create like a little bit of a shadow, you would take its contrasting color. So it's a little wet. And I'm just adding a little bit of this wet green on there. And then maybe I'm going to go over it with a little bit more red to make it darker. Oops, I went over one of those white dots. That's okay. And then back with the wet brush. And that's how you can kind of get muted colors, I guess, if you just layer them like that. So see, we have a nice shadow. Okay, I just zoom in and turn off my light to get a better view of this. Okay, so that's not bad. Okay, let me try and, oops, I did not rinse off my brush. That's okay. I'm gonna try and render this part out. Should have used some clean water. Can I lift? Ah, it's a little bit stained red now. That's okay. I'm learning, right? I'm learning. Like that. Let's grab a little bit more of that color. Just want to deepen it a bit. I mean, that's kind of cute. I wish I left more white spaces, but that's okay. Do a little bit of grass. There's some light green, a little bit of dark green. Okay, that's kind of cute. That kind of works. If you have the right paper, this might be cool. Okay, let's do like a leaf of some sort. So again, I want to try and get these like, what's it called? Oh my goodness, my brain. These muted colors. So if you guys watch my video, was it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, of how to create a muted palette, I told you that if you add its contrasting color, you should be able to get some muted colors. But because we're using these markers, we're going to have to layer. So I'm going to add a little bit of purple to this yellow. A little bit darker so that when I render it out, they kind of, I wonder if that's too warm. I think this is too warm of a purple. There's this like darker kind of mauve-ish purple. Let's see if this works. See, because like this yellow is super, super duper bright. Just kind of want to add little bits of it so it can catch it and then we can mix it. But also I'm hoping that those purple lines will be able to be rendered out. Oh no, you can still see them underneath. Okay, so it doesn't fully render out. But I mean, it's not a huge make or break. It is muting it. It's not as vibrant. So you just have to be a bit more mindful of where you put those lines. Or you could always, I guess, draw on your palette with them and then pick up the color that way. Yeah, this purple is a little bit too warm. I feel like we need like a bluey purple to get that right color to make it a bit more muted. So I'm just mixing a blue and a purple here. It's a bit more on the blue side. We're just practicing. We're just playing around here. But I mean, still, it kind of looks cool, right? Like it has like this little blue undertone to it. This can be more of like an illustrative style. It doesn't have to be realistic or anything. I think that looks kind of cool. I might even want to put a little bit of like green in there because the oak leaf was green before. It's interesting. I don't know. Okay, I want to do kind of like a purpley, like a dark purple leaf. Let me just see, what color is this again? It's not really, it's kind of like purpley. So I'm sure they have a different range. This is more reddish. A different range of these colors. I'm sure, like I didn't really look too much into this company after I got them because I just wasn't as interested, but I'm sure they have a wider range of colors for this, so, or for these markers. So I'm just gonna see how dry that is, but I kind of like it for texture. Just making it a little bit darker on one side. And then I'm gonna add a bit more of that like purple or blue. Just a little bit, so we'll mix with it. I kind of like the way this is turning out, to be honest. Part of me is wondering or thinking that if I were to add like a black outline to these to make it like more of an illustration look to it, like a line and wash, this could really pop and look really cool. So I might want to consider that. But it is possible to mix these colors, which is fun. And I'm not hating them like I did when I first, not like I hated them, I just wasn't as into it. But I'm not like, ugh, I don't want to do this anymore. This is kind of fun to just play around. You know, when you're ever trying a new medium that you're not as familiar with or you're kind of intimidated to use, I always suggest painting or drawing something that is familiar and something that you love, because then at least you know what will kind of look good. You know what I mean? It's something that you enjoy doing, so it's at least it's a little bit fun, even if you're not a big fan of the medium. So like leaves and stuff like that is like some of my favorite things to do. I'm just adding some clean water because it looks like the water pushes a little bit of the pigment, and we can get some fun color bleeds with this. I really like that color, actually. This is really cool. I like that, and we could do a little bit more lines and stuff like that on the layer. Okay, I kind of want to do like some what's it called, like brown mushrooms over there. I'm going to use that kind of purpley taupey color for the top of these ones. I like this color, like that, and we'll do like that. Shade it over on one side, just adding more color to that one side. And then maybe using the brown for the stem. Doing the little, I like to call it a skirt on the mushroom. And then this one's going to be like kind of curving over. So they're like connected almost. Then I'm just going to add a little bit more color under there, a little color under there, under the skirt, like that. Okay, let's see what that looks like. It looks so weird when you just put the colors down before you render it out. Okay, I need to use cleaner water. What am I doing? Just picked up that red water again. So it doesn't render out completely Like you still see some of that line underneath, but we can always layer, I think, and, you know, just add some texture to it. Doesn't bug me too much. Just like that. Like that. And like that. I think that looks kind of cool. I feel like we could add more detail to this one. Just kind of using just the marker as it is. Just adding a bit more shadow. It's a little bit juicier when you use it on the wet surface, so that's interesting. That's kind of cool. What if I get like a little bit of black? Okay, that black is pretty juicy, so I gotta be careful. I feel like I should have used a bit more of a brighter color. I just wanted to deepen those shadows, but I don't know. It's kind of cool. Kind of cool. Okay, let's do another leaf. I feel like we could use some more leaves in here. Let's do like a orangey kind of, maybe a maple leaf. I don't know what color this is. It's kind of, the oranges are really bright in this palette, or this marker set. So I'm going to try and draw like a maple leaf-ish. I always find them so hard to draw, so I do like a triangle, little triangle, little triangle. Actually, I got to do this. 5. It's like a 5-point thing. It can be a little bit more jagged. Like that. Does not have to be perfect, is what I'm telling myself. Like that. Okay, and I gotta remember that these lines are gonna be in there. Okay. So I'm just gonna add some orange in here. I'm gonna add some red, maybe some yellow. Let's get some like lighter orange in there as well. That's like a peach. Don't like that one. Like that. A little bit more yellow. I'm gonna add some green. Which green? This green. Because that's gonna mix with the red and it's gonna create kind of like a muted, darker red. Just kind of adding it in the little sections where the curves kind of come in. That, and then where's that dark red that I had? Like the purpley. Like it looks like such a mess beforehand. But that's kind of fun, like the magic of not knowing if it's going to turn out. And then when it does, it's like, surprise! Or not. Okay, let's render it out and just kind of, I'm going to go over some of the lighter areas first. So those light oranges, the yellows, and then just start blending it in with the darker bits. Or just going over the whole thing and just kind of smushing it together. Which is kind of where I'm going now with this. Still looks cool though. Okay, so I think I've changed my mind. Is this going to be, you know, a tool or a supply that I pick up often to use? Like, is it going to be my favorite? No, I don't think so. It's just not my style. I know a lot of people who love watercolor markers and mediums like this, and that's totally cool, and you guys can do some like amazing magic with them. It's just not my favorite, but this could be really fun for if you're, you know, on the go and you just want to bring something easy to kind of paint with or draw with. This is a great option for that. But yeah, it's just not my favorite, but I definitely, now that I've tried, I guess, the right paper, the right, subject, because I love painting leaves and stuff like that, it makes sense. Like, this looks cute. I love the kind of chaos of it not being, perfect, and just being a bit more loose and illustrative kind of a style. Like, this is cool. I'm just using purple for all. Just adding a little bit of shadow in there. Like, that looks really cool. I really kind of like that. You guys are going to have to let me know in the comments below. I think that's where I'm going to stop. But that was actually a lot of fun, and you can create some beautiful stuff with this. So, maybe add some black pen for an outline or whatever. But let me know what you guys think of this medium, if this is something that you're interested in, if you'd like more videos like this, and that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it, and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on all my other platforms for tons more content. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.